Hey, Dr. Trashy, and today I'm gonna explain what the blue buff is, how it works, what you should use him for, and when you should start the blue buff as a jungler. So let's get right into it. You receive the blue buff when slaying the blue sentinel. This jungle monster spawns at 140 and after that every 5 minutes. He's fairly tanky, can deal a lot of damage and therefore is really annoying if you don't receive a pull from either your top laner if you're on the blue side or your bot lane if you're on the red side. The monster has a bit of armor and negative MR, so use spells that deal magical damage as often as possible when fighting since they deal extra damage. Also try to kite the blue sentinel since he's real slow. If done correctly, you can avoid a lot of damage. If you finish the monster, then with the final blow you get 250 XP if you have the jungle item, which is enough to reach level 2 as well as 100 gold. But more importantly, you get the Crest of Insight, or as most people refer to it, the blue buff. This buff lasts for 2 minutes, gives you 10% cooldown reduction and even more important, a lot of mana regeneration, so you can basically run around, spam all of your spells and probably you would still not run out of mana for the next 2 minutes. If you get executed by a monster, minion or a turret though, you lose the buff, and when an enemy champ kills you while the buff is still active, he will have the buff for the next 2 minutes. Okay, now you know what the blue sentinel and the blue buff is, but when should you start at this camp as a jungler? Most people just start at the blue buff because it's more comfortable since they don't have to worry about their mana and therefore can spam, but actually only real mana hungry champs like a Mumu or Fiddlesticks that need blue buff to do their jungle road should always start there. Also tanky junglers with a weak early game that really don't need first blood or an early kill, the snowball like Kragas, Zac or Sejuani should start at the blue buff. If you want to do a level 2 cheese gank though, or want to counter jungle as soon as possible like Shaco for example, I would suggest you to do red buff since the slow, the health regen and the true damage make your ganks and your 1v1 a lot stronger. In general, you have 2 options after killing the blue buff. You can either make a full jungle clear, back, get your second jungle item and some control wards to establish vision and control, or you go to the wolves and red buff, which gives you level 3 as well as a double buff. This combination is deadly for your opponents and you should then look for an opportunity to make plays. All in all, gives you the blue buff more options and you don't have to snowball the game to be as successful as a jungler. And that would normally be already the end of the video, but I just wanted to clarify now who gets the second blue buff, since a lot of junglers say they don't want to give it to the mid laner because they need it themselves. And even though this is in most cases true, is the blue buff much better on your mid laner, since he can spam the enemy mid laner, put him under pressure, push the wave, therefore he can roam and make plays on the other lanes. Of course, champs with energy on mid laner without any mana don't need the blue buff that badly, but in general I would at least ask the mid laner if he wants the blue buff. If he says yes, you should also pull him the buff so that he only has to attack once or twice and does not lose any minions. On the other hand, if he says no or doesn't even respond, the buff belongs to you. So that's all for today. I hope you learned 1 or 2 things, and if you did so, please leave a like. Also subscribe if you want to see more content like that. But anyway, thanks for watching and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.